Bitcoin, are we going to 9,600 or 6,600? What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. I hope everybody's having a fabulous Monday, and I hope you had a great weekend. We're going to take a look at the charts, starting out with Litecoin, moving on to Bitcoin. And at the end of the video, we're going to be taking a look at the Bitcoin daily chart versus the gold weekly chart, and look at where our correction might be going if we are in a correction now, or where we could be moving before a correction. So definitely stick around, check it out. I want to remind you guys, we have a free Discord and a link down below the video in the description box. There's also some affiliate links in there that help the channel out, guys, so make sure you check that out. Let's get into the video and see what's going on. All right, guys, as always, I want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anybody doing any trading or investing in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market is extremely volatile and risky. Also, keep in mind this is still a speculative market, so don't put in more than you're willing to lose, guys. Anyways, if you're new here or you haven't already, hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand side of the screen. That'll get you subscribed to the channel. Tick the notification bell. That'll get you notified when I post new videos, as I do post them every day, so it will keep you updated. Also, guys, smash the likes, leave your comments, let me know what you think. Leaving a comment in the comment section down below also get you entered to win a free t-shirt. We do the drawing on Sunday. So, all right, enough of that. Let's get into the charts. So, looking at Litecoin on the daily, and we can see right here we had a neckline of 90, about 94. And if we look at this coming down around the bottom, looks like a cup and a handle. And if we look at where we broke out of that, guys, that gets us to the 167. I am still steering for 167, guys. I still believe we are headed there eventually. My mind hasn't changed on that at all. I also looking at another cup and handle here with a really small handle here. I'm not as sure about this one, but I still like to look at it and kind of take a look, see where it might be headed. And that's up to the 192 range. So let's look at the next my next target here, which would be looking at this as a rising broadening wedge or ascending broadening wedge, with this being the top line and this being the bottom line here, which is the bottom trend line, and moving it up to, if we were to break out, and again that's around the 145 146, and we'll look at that in a 4-hour, to where I think if we break out, we're going to break out. But that gets us up to about the $240 range, guys. Definitely still a possibility. I know everybody's starting to get bearish, but I am not. So let's take a look at the RSI. And looking at this, is still a rising channel here. Been getting resistance off the top line, support off the bottom. We had like a bear trap here. I still see another move up, guys, around this peak, possibly align with this peak, which would be up here. But I definitely am still looking for this move up. We're going to look at the 4-hour and see what that looks like. If you guys are following along, definitely start drawing your lines. A lot of people in Discord been getting really good now and you know, taking away the fear out of the market. So I'm going to move this line over a little bit, because this looks more like the channel here. And I believe we're going to pop back up, but we're going to look at this as the top of a falling channel or descending channel. And this is the bottom, the support area. And if you look here, I have these two blue lines in here, and we're going to take a look at that. That's a rising channel within the falling channel. Just like we had a falling wedge that we broke out of here, came up into a falling channel, broke out of this falling channel, into another falling channel, broke out of this one, into another falling channel. And this right now is a key area. Now the question is, do we break back up out of this channel and break into this blue channel, which is the rising channel, and come back up and test this top one more time? Well, I do believe that's what's happening. So we're going to take a look at that in the price action now. All right, and I know everybody is getting super bearish, but I am not yet. So I'm going to explain why, but we are going to take a look at the bearish scenario first. So if you guys remember, we were looking at this top line here, as a top of a ascending broadening wedge, and this thinner blue line, we were looking at the bottom of the ascending broadening wedge. Now we cloned this line here from these peaks where we had 3 touches, and we moved it down to this line here, which if you'll notice, it seems to be holding rather well right now. But this is the key area to watch right now, guys, around the $110 range. Actually, yeah, right around the $110 range. If we were to break down, I also have this support line drawn from over here where we got support, broke through and then broke back up above it. So this is going to be a key area here to watch. I'm going to put a target in there. If we are to break down, guys, we watch this area right here around the $103 range. If that does not hold, I'm going to change the color of that to orange because that is a down target. So let's do that. And so that would be the key area to watch. If we break down from 110, guys, then we'd be looking for the 103 area or 103. If we break down from the 103 and that does not hold, that would bring us back down to this broadening wedge, ascending broadening wedge. And the area around that we'd be looking for support there would be around 91 area. The ultimate bearish scenario, guys, that breaks and we come down to the 6200, which was old resistance, become new support. And if that was to break, guys, my next target is around the 5300, or I'm sorry, not 5300, I'm thinking Bitcoin. 5300 range, which would also be this bottom long-term trend line from the bottom over here. So that is the bearish case. Now we're going to look at the bullish case scenario. My scenario. All right, so as you can see, like I said, I cloned this line here. We're still staying within this channel. We've gotten a nice bounce off it over here at 102. Another nice bounce last night or this morning at around the 108, 109, actually 110 or 111. And I had this target here, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I had this target here. We were looking at this as a bull flag. We did not make it up to there, but like I said, this bottom trend line is still holding. So I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to take this off also and get rid of these bull flag lines and take a look at what we're doing. So I do believe we're going to continue up, get this bounce. I'm still looking at the 145 area, actually, where these 2 trend lines, the top of this channel meet, and then the top of that long term, like I said, broadening wedge in the beginning. And looking at that, that's actually, I'm going to move that up. That target is going to be more around the 146 area. Excuse me. So looking at that as the 146 area as my next target, I believe we're going to continue up from here to test the top of this channel. Now, if that channel breaks, I want to do a measured move. Actually, if this channel breaks, then we're looking at that 167 area, guys, which is the cup and handle target. That's my ultimate target right here. And obviously, if we make it up to this, I'll be looking for this trend line at the top of this bigger broadening wedge to be support, and then we continue up from there. And my next target from there, guys, is the measured move of the breakout right there at the 146. If we do, my opinion, and I'll tell you my opinion in Bitcoin too, right around this area, everybody's probably going to be shorting if we make it up to this area, which will obviously give us our boost up. And the measured move off that, guys, would be, and I'm going to put these lines over on the lines I believe they would be on. This was the bigger cup and handle target, and then this 202 right around here. That would be the target of breaking out of this blue wedge here, which is the blue rising wedge. So that's what I'm looking at there, guys, in Litecoin. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on this. This is where I believe we're headed. And if we look at the RSI in the 4 hour, again, real quick, as you can see, this would be our move up. I believe it would get us up in here, but we have to break through this blue rising channel and get back inside it before we could do that. So that's where I'm at with that. Let's look at Bitcoin. All right, Bitcoin, the same thing. We were looking at this as a cup and a handle. And our measured move off that, guys, was the $8,400 where we did hit right here and then corrected and continuing up from there. Now, as you can see, I have this rising, broadening, or I'm sorry, not rising, broadening, this rising wedge here that everybody's looking at. And typically speaking, or technically speaking, this is a bearish sign and they usually break down, but I believe we're pretty bullish here, guys, and I don't want to say we're gonna break down for sure or break up for sure, but I'm leaning more towards breaking up, and I'll explain why here in a minute. But let's take a look at our targets and how I got them first. So looking at this as a rising or ascending broadening wedge, and the measured move off of this where we broke out, guys, is we put it right on top of the line where we broke out, and that gets me this $9,600 range, and I am still pretty confident that that's where we're going. Like I said, as you can see, this bottom trend line's holding. We got a nice bounce off it. I do see us coming up to here, guys, the 9,600 before a correction, and we'll take a look at that in the Bitcoin daily versus gold weekly chart and see where the correction would be if we correct here. Now, my opinion of correcting here is, you know, I don't believe we're going to correct there, honestly. I'm going to get this out of the way. We'll take a look at our measured moves here in a minute. We're going to zoom in and do that. But first, we're going to look at the RSI and see what that's telling us. All right, this is the RSI in the daily. We were looking at this as a rising wedge, or I'm sorry, rising channel with resistance up here at the top, support at the bottom. And if you guys have been watching, you knew when this dip happened, I just cloned this bottom line and moved it down here. And obviously you can see we were getting support off that, bounced back in the channel, failed, and came back in here. And now, as you can see, we're bounced out of it a little bit like we were over here. But again, this is the daily. We have all day to get back in the channel, which I believe we're going to do. And I do believe the RSI is probably going to come back up into this area. Let's take a look at the 4-hour, and then we'll take a look at the recent price action and where I believe we're headed. All right, so looking at the 4-hour, same thing, long rising channel here. We had a rising wedge within it, broke down, came down into a rising channel. And as you can see, we broke down out of it here. So I'm not 100% certain on these lines. These could be more like this, and this could be more like a broadening wedge here, which is definitely possible, that we continue up, come up here, and another test of this. I don't believe we're going to test the top of the channel, but I do believe we're going to test the top of this, and that's going to be our next move up. Let's go into the price action now and see what that's looking like. And I'm going to give you my targets, and we are going to look at this as the bearish scenario first, guys, as always. And I'll show you how I got them. We'll take a look at these two. These are the targets I had yesterday. We'll zoom in a little bit and see what happened there. But I do want to point out the bearish scenario. And this measured move down to the 6,600 area, which again, in the end, I'll show you my main trend line that I'm watching for, you know, our support line. So, but we do a measured move off of this wedge from the widest point here. And if we were to break down out of this wedge, that gets me to the 6,600 worst case scenario, guys. I also have this trend line, which was the broadening wedge in the bigger picture. Looking at 7,100 to support, I'm going to put another line right here, because if this was the breakdown, I believe this could hold as support right around the 7,800, 7,850 range, guys, which would be the top of this, the old bull flag here, which we came down and retested here, which usually happens when we pop up out of a bull flag. We come down, test top for support, and continue up. So I do believe we do have more moves up, guys. So no matter what, I would never short Bitcoin, not especially right now and how this market is. I think this market, I think we're in the bull market. So anyways, we'll do a measured move. This is the flagpole, and this top yellow line was our bull flag right here. And if we do the measured move up off of that, again, guys, now we're looking at the bullish case scenario. That gets us up to the 10.6 area. Now, the other measured move I have off that is this measurement from this rising wedge here. We would bring that up to here if we were to break out. And that gets us up to the 11.6 range, guys. Actually, let me move this over here. That would be this one here. But yes, that gets us up to the 11.6. So I'm definitely still looking at that as our measured move, guys. But like I said, 96, I definitely think we're going to hit 96, which would be the top of this wedge. And what I believe is going to happen here, I'm sorry. Let me zoom in and show you my targets from yesterday. This was the target off of this bull flag that I had drawn in right here. You can see the top of the bull flag, bottom of the bull flag, and the measured move was the 88.47. We didn't quite hit that. We hit 88.30, 38, something like that. Pretty close though, guys. And then this target, I was looking at this as another bull flag up here. Obviously, this one didn't hit. We will get out of there now. Get that one out of the way. I'm going to get this one out of the way too, since we're done with that. But we were extremely close to hitting that one, guys. So if you were following along and you were trading, you might have done pretty good off that if you were doing your own charting and finding out the same thing. So, all right, let me get out of there. Now I'm going to look at why I think that 9,600 can be broken. And reason being, if we look at the 6,000 area that everybody thought for sure, everybody was shorting here, thought, you know, that was going to be a huge resistance, because obviously that's, you know, the point where we broke down from over here. That was support for a really long time around the 6,000 range, and everybody thought that was going to be so hard to break through. So everybody was shorting there, thinking for sure that it was going to be going down and they were going to make all kinds of money shorting. And liquidation, I mean, tons of liquidation there, guys. And a lot of that went towards people probably believing the diaper wave theory. But anyways, so yeah, that we're looking at I kind of lost my train of thought, and I'm not going to oh, here we go. So the 9,600 area, why I believe it's going to break, because obviously this bearish sign here, which is a rising wedge, and I believe when we hit this, everybody is going to be thinking for sure we're going down, so everybody's going to be shorting here, and the same thing's going to happen from 6,000. That'll move us up to our next target, a 10.6, and once we get up there, I would extend this out, and I believe that would be our new support line. If we come up to the 10.6, then we'll probably come back down, test this for support, and move on up to the 11.6. And then who knows from there, we'll have to see what the data brings us. But yeah, that's my opinion. If anybody's shorting Bitcoin right now, good luck to you. That's a very dumb move in my opinion. So now let's move on to the Bitcoin daily chart. As you can see, I have the Bitcoin daily chart, and I drew a trend line from each peak coming down to where it broke down from 6,000. Now we're going to take a look at the gold weekly chart, and keep in mind the gold weekly chart is over like a 20 year period. Obviously Bitcoin's on a daily, but a pattern is a pattern, guys, and human emotion is human emotion. It always reacts the same in charts, and that's what creates patterns. And I also believe, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news, because when we hear about the news, it's already happened. The people, the insiders, the people that know what's going on, they don't release the news to the public until after they do their moves in the market. And that's why I believe in show me the charts, I'll tell you the news, because it already happened before we hear about it, guys. So anyways, let's take a look. This is my year-end target, and it's $46,000, and I know it's bold, but I do believe it can happen, and I'm going to show you why when I click over to the gold weekly chart. And if we look at the pattern, you can see the resemblance, obviously. And right here in 2003, the gold ETF was approved, the gold ETF was approved, and you can see what happened after that. Now, when the ETF was approved, that allowed institutions to come in, and obviously you can see what it did to gold. Now, I know people say the ETF isn't going to affect Bitcoin, but if you look at this area right here, and then look at the area we're at in Bitcoin, we're ready for some huge news. Will it be the ETF? Possibly. I think more likely it's going to be the ETF, but it could be something else. But we are waiting for some big news here, and I believe we're going to get this same move that we got in gold. Like I said, a pattern is a pattern. Another thing I want to show you about this pattern is if you notice on gold here, I'll zoom in so you can see it. And then stick around, we're going to check out the RSI too, and the long term on the Bitcoin, and show you what the resemblance of the old bull market and bear market compared to this one. So, excuse me. So as you can see on this long-term trend line on gold, we bounced off the bottom twice before breaking through. And like I said, the gold ETF was approved right in here. Now let's look over at Bitcoin. We're going to zoom in a little bit and look at that bottom trend line. Same thing, 2 touches on the bottom of this trend line. And I believe we're right in this area in Bitcoin. So we have a huge move coming. And that's why I believe people will FOMO in, especially after that 9,600 mark, guys. And that I believe there's going to be a bunch of short squeezes there, a bunch of liquidations. This is my opinion again, guys. Don't trade off anyone's opinion on YouTube. Definitely do your own research and your own due diligence. But I do like to share my opinion. So that's what I'm doing. But anyways, now I want to look at what we're looking at here. This is the ultimate bottom, the ultimate, what do I want to say here? Support line that we broke through. It was going to be resistance. This is the last line I have. Like I said, I drew off all these peaks, and this one's drawn from the bottom, from the top of this peak and the bottom of these ones. And we broke through that. So is it possible that we come down now to 6,600? It's possible. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But I am going to show you, if we were to break down, I know people are saying we need a 30 to 40% correction. But if we were to break straight down from here and come down to the 6,600 range, that's going to be about a 27% correction. But if we go up to the 96 and do a measured move down to the 66, that would be a 30% correction, guys. So it is possible we hit 96 and this rising wedge plays out as a bearish move and comes down. But if we do what I believe we're going to do and blow through that 96, let's look at 10.6. 10.6, it would be a 37% correction. So that would still be a possibility to come down to this. And by that time, I believe it would be more in the $6,700 range for the correction. Keep in mind, I do not believe we're going to drop below this. I believe this line is going to hold this support no matter what. So the absolute lowest I see us going right now from this moment is 6,600. If you're expecting a Bitcoin under 6,600 or still believe in the diaper wave theory, good luck to you. It's not happening. In my opinion, pipe dreams. I know there's other analysts and analysts with quite a few followers calling for 4,200. That's the same guy that was calling for 1,800 and his buddy was calling for 1,000. Didn't happen, never gonna happen. Just like 4,200 isn't gonna happen, guys. If you're expecting a Bitcoin under 6,600, and I believe you're gonna be lucky to get one at 6,600, but if you're expecting one below that, I believe you are 100% ass out. Now we'll look at that other target, the 11.6. And that would be a 43% correction, actually 42% correction. So I believe if we get up to that 11.6 area or whatever, our correction's probably only going to be around back down to possibly the 8,000 range, somewhere in there. So definitely keep an eye on these targets, guys. Keep an eye on this wedge here. This is very important right now. I do expect this bottom line to hold. to get us to at least the 96 area. And like I said, we'll see what happens in the 96, where I believe everybody will be shorting, and we should get a huge move up. So that's my opinion of the market, guys. If you enjoyed the video and you like the content, click the Crypto Savvy logo above my head. That'll get you subscribed to the channel. And then you tick the notification bell. That'll get you notified when I post new videos, as I do post every day. That way you don't miss out on anything. And then give me thumbs up and leave your comments, guys. Let me know what you think. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.